Good evening and welcome to Gons Hall. We are pleased to have you as a part of our audience. We would like to remind you to silence any cell phones or other electronic devices. Also, please note that flash photography is prohibited during the performance. Thank you for your cooperation and enjoy the concert.
Good afternoon. Welcome to this session of the Embodied Performer. The Embodied Performer features student performances representing the Chicago College of Performing Arts programs in voice, opera, string chamber music, and theater. Actors, singers, dancers, and instrumentalists merge mental acuity with physical prowess to interpret and perform complex material to convey emotion and storytelling through their performances. Actors and opera singers bring complex characters to life through physical gesture, expression, and movement perfectly synthesized with elements of rhythm, language, phrasing, and technique. The chamber musician's mind is also sharply tuned, utilizing keen listening, clear bodily cues, eye contact, and aligned breathing as synergistic means to bring the music into alignment, not only from the perspective of the notes stacking in the right places at the right time, but also from the perspective of the subjective interpretive shape of the performance. In each discipline, the body becomes the instrument through which artistic and dramatic intentions are realized. The coordination of mind and body finds its apotheosis in collaborative performances, serving as inspiration for a cooperative and harmonious society. We welcome you to Gons Hall. Before we begin today's performance, we do ask that you silence all electronic devices. Each of our student performance groups will introduce their performance and their personnel. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Taylor, and I am responsible for devising and directing A Wave of the Sea, which is part of the Chicago College of Performing Arts season this year. We open next Wednesday in the Miller Theater and perform through Sunday, October 29th, so you should come and see us. So A Wave of the Sea is a marriage between Shakespeare and dance. If Shakespeare holds the mirror up to nature, then dance perhaps reflects the spirit within. So in creating this piece, and this is Claire McFarland, by the way. She is the student choreographer. I'll hand the mic over to her in just a moment. We're getting snaps from our cast backstage. So in creating this piece, it was one of the things that was important to me was in establishing the mind and body connection was to layer in elements of the Elizabethan world picture. So our first week of rehearsal, we spent a lot of time ensemble building while journeying through some of these concepts. Specifically, we used the first folio as our text. So the first folio differs from modern editions of Shakespeare in that it's greatly different in capitalization, in punctuation, and in spelling. Modern editions clean it up for the modern reader, but what lies in the folio are often clues for the performer about not only when there's a thought shift in rhetoric, but when that thought shift might be driven by the emotional life as depicted in a longer spelling or a semicolon, or if there's an intellectual change in the argument as might be indicated by semicolon or semicolon or capitalization. So, very nerdy stuff, but I love it. But other things we explored were the Elizabethan thought of the great chain of being. So this specific idea of status, that everything in the world had its place, from the mineral all the way up to the heavens, and that staying in this place created balance and harmony, and stepping out of it created discord. And, well, Shakespeare likes to play with the discord. Some other things that we played with were throughout the language, Shakespeare's language, there's talk of the humors and the elements and the tripart soul. So, for example, the tripart soul. The thought that the human being just doesn't have a soul, but we might have three parts to our souls. Part of our soul that is governed with our intellect, a part of our soul that is governed with our heart, and a part of our soul that's governed by our baser wants and needs. So, we're not completely divorced from this way of thinking. It still exists in our language. Think of the thought of someone being headstrong or absent-minded, or the saying to pour your heart out or to be brokenhearted, or to have a gut feeling about something, or to take a moment to digest some information. So we might not think in the tripart soul, but it still exists in our language. So the desire behind this exploration was to add to our toolbox some things that we may not still have as a modern performers, so that we can, first of all, have a common language as an ensemble, but to help us bring to life this text both through our acting choices and through dance and movement. So this section of A Wave of the Sea is from our Act 4, entitled Tempest to My Soul. So we take a look at our relationship to death. In our play, we've just been through a little bit of the land of Henry V, and we have had a death at the end of the war. So we take that kind of group experience and turn it to a singular experience of death, how it relates to grief, fear of death, or lack thereof. It includes texts from 3 different plays: Constance from King John, Claudio from Measure for Measure, and Clarence from Richard III. So I want to let you know that we are still in rehearsal, and this choreography is freshly minted. We will also have on book our student assistant director, India Renteria. She's going to be on book, so the actors may freely call for line if they need to. And again, this is choreographed by, wonderfully, beautifully choreographed by our student choreographer, Claire McFarland. So do you want to say a few words?
Yeah, I will say just a quick little something. Hello. So basically throughout the creative process of this, something that I really wanted to focus on and sort of protect in terms of group work together, I think this particular piece, because it focuses with such a strong emotion, the way that we can get that to come through in our bodies. We also play with this sort of concept of one step in the world that we can see and the world that we cannot see. So our dancers have sort of also taken on a vocabulary in their bodies that's much more contracted. There's a little bit more tension involved, and it's very based on building upon each other. It's very either symmetrical or very loose and different, so that contrast was something that I really wanted to focus on. And also our dancers here and our actors. We have Alexa, Grace, Skylar, Rachel, Nat, Sydney, Tia, Mary, and Zach. I know your name, Sydney. I'm just nervous. Okay, let's go.
Lady, you utter madness and not sorrow.
I am not mad. This hair I tear is mine. My name is Constance. I was Geoffrey's wife, and young Arthur is my son. And he is lost.
You hold too heinous a respect of your grief.
He talks to me that never has summer.
You are as fond of grief as of your child.
Grief fills the room up of my absent child. Lies in his bed, walks up and down with me, puts on his pretty looks, repeats his words, remembers me of all his gracious parts, stuffs out his vacant garments with his form. Then, have I reason to be fond of grief? Fare you well. Had you such a loss as I could give better comfort than you do.
to die and go we know not where, to lie in cold obstruction and to rot, this sensible warm motion to become a kneaded clod, and the delighted spirit to bathe in fiery floods, or to reside in thrilling region of thick-ribbed ice, to be imprisoned in the viewless winds and blown with restless violence round about the pendant world, or to be worse than worst, of those that lawless and uncertain thought imagine howling, 'tis too horrible. The weariest and most loathed worldly life, that age, ache, penury, and imprisonment can lay upon nature is a paradise to what we fear of death.
Oh, I have passed a miserable night, so full of fearful dreams of ugly sights. What was your dream?
I long to hear you tell it.
Oh, Lord. Methought what pain it was to drown, what dreadful noise of water in mine ears, what sights of ugly death within mine eyes. Methought I saw 1,000 fearful wrecks, 1,000 men that fishes gnawed upon, wedges of gold, great anchors, heaps of pearl, inestimable stones, unvalued jewels, all scattered in the bottom of the deep. Some lay in dead men's skulls, and in the holes where eyes did once inhabit there were crept, as 'twere in scorn of eyes, reflecting gems that wooed the slimy bottom of the deep, and mocked the dead bones that lay scattered by. Oh, then began the tempest to my soul. A legion of foul fiends environed me and howled in mine ears such hideous cries that with the very noise I, trembling, waked, and for a season after could not believe but that I was in hell. Such terrible impression made my dream.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to take a few minutes to set up. We have to bring a piano out here, so it's going to be a little time period here. But thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm speaking on behalf of the Icarus Ensemble, who will soon be on stage. It's comprised of violinist Hobart Shi, Julian Ng, pianist Raphael Cho, cellist Olivia Moyer, and myself. I'm Sava Velkoff. I play viola. Tonight we will be playing the first movement of Robert Schumann's Piano Quintet in E-flat major, Opus 44, and how it I want to talk a little bit about how it coincides with the theme of tonight's American Dream Conference, which is the embodied performer, or in our case, performers. The first thing that you'll notice when we're all on stage is that none of us are vocalists, so we won't be using the luxury of lyrics in our performance tonight as a method of embodiment or conveying the music. We're also unable to utilize the grand size of the stage, as we'll be confined to the limits of our chairs. So these are two, in essence, pitfalls of being a chamber musician or instrumentalist. However, it's not necessarily the worst thing because we still have different methods of conveying meaning in music. The methods that we use as chamber musicians or instrumentalists to apply meaning to music and as embodied performers relies on a dynamic web of nonverbal communication displayed through various methods such as eye contact, body language, and body motion, how we may gesture certain musical ideas with maybe lifting our instrument or our bow or giving cues. We're also exploring active listening, it being reactive as well as anticipatory at times. And a final point for embodying this type of music is in our breathing. So it's a very physical thing for us as chamber musicians. Each of these aspects that we explore, of course, are in the rehearsal process, and we kind of work out all of the kinks of that. And we ask each other questions such as, how much bow do we use here? Or what's the character of this section? What type of vibrato should we use? Many small details that you don't think of in a performance, but because it happens backstage, we're able to create a sort of performance persona that allows us as embodied performers to come together, not as individuals, right, but as a unit, and convey what this music means. So we hope that you're able to observe these qualities in our performance tonight. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sergio Raul Zavala, and I am a second year's master's student studying classical voice and speaking on behalf of the opera program today. The scenes we have selected for the American Dream Reconsidered come from the second act of Massenet's Manon and the final scene of Giannini's Beauty and the Beast. Within these scenes, we will see the singers manage the demands of the music by incorporating the use of rhythms, notes, blocking, and language to reflect the wide range of emotions that require connection to both the mind and the body. It is the awareness the singers have to their bodies and recognizing that it is not only the larynx, but rather our whole body that creates and supports our instrument, in combination with how each other's characters' minds and bodies react with one another on the stage that allow us to share these stories. Beginning the scene with the second act of Manon, Manon will be played by soprano Morgan Babb and tenor Jose Vargas Ramirez. After the departure of her cousin Lescaut and nobleman Monsieur de Bretigny, who has offered Manon an extravagant lifestyle under his protection and wealth, which will result in her newfound love Desgrieux's abduction by the orders of her father, Manon is now faced with the difficult decision of abandoning Desgrieux to have a life of financial stability and the high social status that she has craved, or to let Desgrieux know of his impending fate and attempts to flee before it happens. In this scene, we see Manon's decision to leave Desgrieux made with her aria. Then, unaware of what Manon is about to do, Desgrieux continues on his hopes of what their life will be like as a married couple. After this conversation, Desgrieux meets his fate and is kidnapped, leaving Manon alone in the house the lovers once shared. Next will be our scenes from Vittorio Giannini's Beauty and the Beast, which will show Savannah Heggie as Beauty, Wesley Christ as the Beast, and Jose Vargas Ramirez as the gardener. After receiving information from the voices of the castle that the Beast is dying by the river, which once kept the magical roses she had dreamed of having, Beauty rushes over in hopes of rescuing the Beast. In disbelief that Beauty has come to his rescue because she truly loves him, we see the humanity within the Beast as he comes to terms with his fate and asks Beauty to use his magic ring to revive the gardener he had turned into stone, so that the gardener may tend to the roses as representation of the Beast and his love for Beauty. After reviving the gardener, Beauty exclaims that the rose beds will now stand for both the love of the Beast and her own. It is this that frees the Beast from the curse, and now he meets Beauty and the gardener as the prince he once was, with the two ending the opera in a duet of love.